Hey, LinkedIn, YouTube, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am super excited for this High Vibe Zone edition. We are highlighting high vibe companies. I am your host, Cherise Fons, and what you see in front of you is our High Vibe tribe. Hey, tribe, hey.
Hello.
We are super excited to talk to you guys today. We had a company, one of our client partners, that was going to be on the High Vibe Zone featuring with talking about their High Vibe company, but they weren't able to make it. So you guys get Culture Circle today, and you get all of us, and we are going to have a very, very great discussion about what we do, get into some other conversations, and you guys get to meet the whole tribe. So if you are joining us on LinkedIn, drop something in the chat. Let us know you're here. Give us your name, where you're from. We are super excited that you are joining us here today in the High Vibe Zone. So before we get into this, I'm so excited. I want to just go around, and I'm going to start with you, Kelsey. Tell everyone your name and what you are grateful for. You're on mute.
Apologies. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Lee, and today I am grateful for, I'm going to go peer feedback and just being in this environment. I feel like just the groundedness of this workplace provides a lot of in the moment feedback as well. Just hanging out with a lot of people that are very self-aware makes that happen.
Nice. Thank you for that. Andrea, passing it to you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Andrea Kohami Summers. What I'm grateful for today is actually in this moment. Because when our tribe comes together, we bring a whole bunch of different backgrounds and experiences and everything, and there's complete acceptance, no judgment, and just awesome dialogue at a personal level and a professional level, and there's peace within that. And peace to me is priceless. So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you so much. Maria.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria, and I think I'm grateful for just the past week. I live in Texas, and Andrea does too, but we had some rough winter storms, and just grateful for all the support that this tribe gave us during that time. It's really hard as a remote team sometimes to just like feel connected to one another, but I don't feel that with this tribe at all. I feel like we're very, very connected, even though we've never met in person. So I'm just grateful for each of you as individuals and then as a group.
Thank you, Maria. And Alyssa.
Hey, everyone. Good morning. My name's Alyssa, and today I'm feeling grateful for freedom of expression, both within this group, the ability to really tap into authentic, creative, dynamic, kind of unique voice and to express that out to the world.
Nice. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I will go last. I'm Cherise Fons. I'm grateful for this moment. Like, I will probably need to massage my cheeks later with all the smiling that is going down because I am so excited. Just whenever the tribe gets together, it is a high vibe time. So I'm super excited to be in this space and very, very grateful for this moment. So that is what I'm grateful for. And we got a couple people joining us today. Hey, Karen. Hey. Thank you for joining us from San Francisco. Okay, you're in my neck of the woods. Hey, Karen, thank you for joining us. And Darren, good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining us. And again, if you're watching live, let us know where you are coming from and your name and possibly what you're grateful for. And already, nice. Caleb, hey, what's up? A place where you can feel like you can communicate and accept others and respect is so important. Great job. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Caleb. Like, we're done. Like, that's kind of all we got to really talk about. So no, I'm joking. Thank you so much, Caleb, because you really did start off with this comment is just really a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. But in true high vibe fashion, I'm going to pull our encouraging card of the day. So I was telling the tribe before we got on that I did this last week and I was like not pulling the right cards. And it was like, nope, not that one. We've already done this one. I don't want to talk about it. I forgot which one I landed on. But this time I feel like it's going to have a completely different effect. So as I shuffle, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one. Okay, this one's nice. It says, oh, I don't know if you guys can even see this, but it says, be inspired, be inspiring. And I think that is a beautiful card for us today. I'm going to pass this one to Alyssa. What is that? What do those words resonate, or how do those words resonate with you today?
I think it's about finding your inner flow, because when you're in that space of inspiration, there isn't rigidity. There isn't that feeling of being blocked. You're an open channel. So it's being present within yourself, not getting all your energy or your attitude blocked up, and just being in that flow state.
Nice. Thank you. Maria, what about you?
Yeah, I think just being grounded. And I think the flow state that Alyssa mentioned is interesting, because sometimes it's a really hard space to find to like seek out. And then sometimes it just comes very easily. So sometimes it's just the unexpected and kind of embracing it as it comes.
Nice. Thank you. Kelsey, what do you think?
I'm inspired by the answers that have already come through. And to add on, I just think it's important to consciously fill your cup, and then that allows you to give to others. So surrounding yourself with people that inspire you on a daily basis, honestly, or just dropping little things into your daily habits that keep you inspired. And then that keeps you, as Maria said, grounded and in the flow state, as Alyssa said, to then be able to give back to others.
Nice. I love it. Andrea, what say you? Be inspired, be inspiring.
To me, that means that we need to create a safe space for ourselves and for others, and leave the ego behind. Because when the ego is not present, you can inspire people without even realizing you're doing it. And in that state, you're also then not just giving, but receiving inspiration and creativity from others without blocking it in any way. So to me, it's what Alyssa was saying. It's this state of flow that's going back and forth. Yeah.
I love everything you guys said. I think this was the perfect card. And to add to what you guys have said, when I see be inspired, be inspiring, one is a state of, and one is an action. And so I am inspired, and very similar to what you said, Kelsey, like you can't give essentially what you don't have. So I must be inspired so I can then be inspiring to others. It's about that concept that I talk about when I speak about Culture Circle, is we are the roots that are attached to this tree in which we will never experience the shade, right? Like we are inspired so we can be inspiring. And so I really like this card, and I'm inspired by all of you guys. I just think you're amazing. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm just so giddy up here. Okay, let me try okay. Oh my gosh, Gino. What up, Gino? Oh my gosh, Gino is amazing. So Gino has a very he is a high vibe human. Gino is very, very amazing. The way that he thinks and processes, just such an amazing human. I briefly worked with him, but good morning down here in SoCal. So you're kind of near where Kelsey is. All right. The sun is shining. Nice. I love to hear that. And Darren, okay, we're in Seattle, grateful for restored health, peace, family. Oh, amen to that. That is amazing. We're so excited that you are grateful for that and experiencing that. Okay, so we're going to do a warm in. I was going to use warm up, but I'm like, oh, we're kind of not moving. So we're going to just do a warm in. Not that, we probably already cozied up the space, but I want to talk to you guys about books real quick. I asked everyone in the tribe to grab a book that resonated with them. And if you guys that are watching have a book that you are reading or you enjoy reading, share it, drop it in the comments. Let's spread the knowledge and wealth. I'm going to start with whoever wants to go first. I'm not going to pick anyone. We'll just go into that flow state. Share your book. If we all talk at once, we know what to do. So why don't we just go for it?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So next week, I'm hosting a discussion on this book, and it's called The Grail Legend. So it's about the Arthurian myths and the quest for the Holy Grail. And this is a really interesting book because it goes into the mythology, but it also looks at the deeper symbolism and the psychology behind it, and how do we apply this to our lives, not purely from the mythological lens, but also on a personal lens and on a collective lens. So I've been loving this book, and it's written by two amazing women, Emma Young and Marie-Louise von Franz. So highly recommend it.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
I can go next. So the book I was reading is Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. And I know we all keep seeing ego kind of pop up into our lives and our work lives. We have a saying that Cherise came up with, and it's slay the ego and raise the humanity. And that just goes very well with this book because ego is really kind of separating yourself from everything else. And it's about selflessness, but in a way that elevates humanity and not just yourself. And it's about like becoming a student and always learning. And then one of the phrases that I love in it is, it's not what do I want to be in life, but what is it that I want to accomplish? So it's kind of thinking about things in a different way that isn't about you, but finding, as Kelsey, you were saying, it's like filling your cup to a point and then being able to give from that cup, but keeping some sort of balance.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I can go next. The book that I have read and I'm going back to often is called Culture, Your Culture by Karen Jaw Madsen. And she really takes the design thinking methodology and blends it with company culture. And as an artist and someone that loves obsessed with the creative process, I very much see the alignment there within companies and just bringing creativity and enjoyment and fun into creating company culture. And so it's like an extremely useful curriculum guide. So anyone that loves to nerd out about like designing company culture, I highly recommend it.
Nice. Nice. Thank you.
Alrighty, I'll go.
Yeah.
I love how all of us waited. Gonna go in. We're always respectful of each other in the space. Okay, my book is actually literally my book. I wrote this in 2008 and published it in 2012, and I've grown as a writer since then. So don't judge in case you read it, but it's become very relevant to where I'm at personally and professionally right now. The main character is a young girl going through her journey of self-discovery. But I'm in a phase in my life right now where it's the coming into your own and fully embracing it, slaying the ego, and not listening to all the voices that negate who you are around you. The past few years have been a journey fully into that. Career-wise, the past year has been that. So it's the whole idea that embracing who you are and bringing your whole self into the world is actually a gift to the world around you. And holding back is taking away from the world and from communities. If you can't bring your gifts, you don't need to be like everybody else. Our differences are what actually makes us so unique and actually bring us all together if we allow each other to shine that way. So I'm in the state of rereading certain passages in there because they align now, God, almost 15 years later. But at the same time, too, I'm getting ready to step back into finishing writing the 5th book in the series, and I've forgotten the details from book 1. So it's time to go back.
Nice. I love that. You said something that, and you guys probably knew this was coming, birth analogy. But like, you're like holding back is like not allowing your full self to be there. And I'm just thinking in birth, can you imagine if you held back the baby, like how that would just, it's like, that's the most beautiful part of what you've gone through your journey. It's like to get there to that birth and holding that back, holding that in. I remember with my 4th baby, I was waiting for my mother-in-law to show up in the delivery room. And I literally held the baby. I was like, nope, I'm good. We're good. And as soon as she got in that room, I was like, I'm ready. So it was like this holding back. But when you talked about that, that just reminded me of, you know, you're holding back a beautiful birth when you hold yourself back from the world, when you can't show up as your authentic self. And so I absolutely love that. And you definitely need to let us know when, you know, the next book is ready, where we are all sending you high vibes on that one for sure. I was torn, but I went to my go-to. The Motivational Manifesto by Brendon Burchard. This book, every time I read it, changes my life. Every single time. Brendon Burchard, this book was introduced to me by my husband. And when Brendon first wrote this book, he gave it away for free. And still people were like, yeah, whatever. Like, this is probably, if I were like on an island, I would take like, this would be one of the books that I would grab with me because it just has so much depth in it. And it's the Motivational Manifesto, 9 Declarations to Claim Your Personal Power. And what he does is so unique. It breaks this social and it breaks those surface level paradigms that we are, you know, either born into or believe. And it just like breaks all of these things down, from fear to freedom. And what does that mean? And it's such a good book. So that is the book that I continue to read, continue to go back to, continue to learn and grow with. So I'm like giddy about that book. And got one here from Karen. Culture Code is amazing. Thank you, Karen. Like, we will definitely check out that book. You could tell us why you love this book. That'd be awesome. And then Darren, holding back is taking away, especially from the person who doesn't get to live out their life free from others. Darren, does anyone know him? Because I have never, like, we need him in the high vibe zone. Like, Darren, this is amazing. Thank you. Yes, I'm definitely going to copy and paste this comment because I really like it so much. Very well. Anyone want to speak to what Darren said?
Sure. I couldn't get to the unmute fast enough.
Oh.
Just one little add on to that, because it's so true. The second you let go of others' expectations, you literally free yourself from this cell, the jail that you've put yourself in your whole life. And it starts when we're children.
Yeah.
And when we're judged for not acting a certain way or being like everybody else or whatever it is, we learn at a young age to conform. And the second you let go of all of that and you step fully into yourself, it's like all the weight of the world has been released from yourself and you're truly free to move forward because you love yourself so wholly and fully and in the most humble of ways that words cannot hurt you anymore. Others' opinions cannot hurt you, and you can actually fulfill your own journey, your spiritual purpose without fear of others derailing you at that point. So I love what you said, Darren. Thank you so much for making that comment.
I love that too. I think the word ego also sort of might come with expectations because it's what we think we compare ourselves with others. And I think what replaces ego or expectation is humility. It's that humbleness. And so when we detach ourselves to those expectations, maybe it's expectations of the result of something or a person or just anything, because once we find that freedom, then there's literally nothing else except humbleness.
Nice.
I've also found this to be, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just such a journey. It's just a nonstop journey, because as soon as you release certain expectations and you dig deeper and continue down your road, other expectations show up, and deeper expectations or past expectations, and they just manifest in different ways. So I think this is a lifelong practice. So I keep that in mind. So thank you for reminding us of that.
Nice. Thank you. Okay. Let's get into it. We're ready. We're warmed in. There we go. We're warmed in. And okay. So we've been doing this probably anywhere between 4 and 5 months, like all of us together, or just in individual stages. And one of our client partners, shout out to Social Contract. Hey, Social Contract. Hey, we love you. Somebody was like, I think they might have mentioned it, like, where did you guys all come from? You know, like, how did you guys get into this one space? And so I want to start there with, I'm finding it. One second. Here we go. What brought us together? And you can share as little or as much as you want. I'm going to actually start first and just say, I have no idea. I have no idea how this happened. On a perfect day, I don't think I could have brought you amazing humans into this space. But I do know that it started with a leap of faith, which really started with a lot of the conversation Andrea and I were having. So I have no idea. Like, I wouldn't even know how to say, how do you recruit for a tribe like ours? I wouldn't even know where to start, because there was no recruiting needed. It was just like the universe, God put us all together at the same place in the same time. So I have no idea. So I'm going to pass it on to anyone that wants to talk about what brought us together and like that whole thing. But I just thought I'd throw that out there first.
I'll jump in. I love how you said that, because without your leap of faith, it wouldn't have started the process for all of us to come together in the first place. You could have just gone back to work, full-time employee somewhere, and, stable comfort zone, right? But you felt that there was something more, and you followed that path. And when you and I think originally met, we first talked in September. We were connected in August through a mutual contact and friend of ours. And I thought there was a business opportunity, like traditional business, because I looked at your profile and I was like, oh, well, she's in HR type stuff and I do consulting. I mean, maybe that's what it is. And then we started talking and it had nothing to do with business and it was all spiritual. And I'm like, our values are very synced up and we believe in this, what other people think are woo-woo things, but it's actually just being really good humans at work and for others. And that's awesome. That's amazing. And then let's see, fast forward a little bit. I ended up speaking very openly about my special gifts, we'll say, just things that differentiate me, where I'm not normal like everybody else. And Cherise sent me probably right after I got off of that podcast, she sent me a note saying, we have to talk. Like, we have to talk again. And that was around November. And we just started a dialogue. And it was this commonality between us that we're both human and we have hearts and not business minded around like, okay, well, I have to make $50,000 this particular month and we have to go find this client and we're going to do this. It had nothing to do with that. It was just about, hey, Andrea, what makes you tick? What are you looking for? Are you looking for something? And like, this is where I'm at. And by the way, I'm also a doula and I'm a mom to 5 and I've got like 25 other balls that I'm juggling in the air, and you were perfectly grounded. throughout the entire conversation. And my jaw was just on the floor, as it is every single day when all of us connect. And I want to tie this in actually to the comment that Caleb put in, which is, what do you think is the best way for remote workers to connect on a conversational level? It's what Charisse does with all of us. And it's about acknowledging the human first and always making space for that. And if you read someone's face and they're either disconnected or they look depressed or they're texting somebody else, just provide safe space to say, do we need to meet later? Or are you okay? What's going on? When you connect heart to heart, it makes a huge difference.
Thank you for that. Yes, that's a really good question. And the key word is remote, as in not in physical space. But what's also interesting is even in physical space, I think remote gives us a moment to pause. In physical space, sometimes we're tripping over ourselves, and we don't have, and it all depends on just each of our energetic frequencies, introvert, extrovert, all of those different things. Remote, I believe, gives us a moment to say, wait a minute, I can pause in this moment. I don't need to answer you. I can connect with you a little bit more on this. And so I love what you said, Andre, and thank you so much for sharing what brought us together. And Caleb, thank you for this amazing question. I'm going to let whoever wants to go next. Question is, what brought us together?
I can go. So I think it's really hard to pinpoint exactly how and why and everything. But I like the saying, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. And looking back, I can pinpoint several instances that led up to meeting you, Charisse, and then the rest of the tribe. And one of them was kind of when curses become blessings. So I was working at a different job last year, and due to different circumstances, it was like layoffs and COVID and all of that. So the job ended, and there was about a month where I was like looking for new opportunities. And one of my friends that I met through running connected me with Charisse because he, shout out to Adam, we just became LinkedIn friends. So one of those lessons there, it's like community, because I wouldn't have found you throughout my friend. And this was a friend that like we ran together every week at 6 a.m. So it's like that determination and persistence. And then that ended up overlapping into professional life and personal life. And I think what I really like with this group and this tribe is that that line is sort of blurred in a good way between personal and professional, because we're so like-hearted that everything is just one. And so when I talked with Charisse the first time, it was like a regular phone call, like no resume, nothing, which was unlike any other experience that I'd had. And we just clicked. Like, it was like that gut feeling that we've learned to trust. And just like intuitively, we know that something is going to come out of this. And so I think that's what got us connected. And then with the rest of the tribe too, it's just that like internal feeling you can't really explain.
Thank you for that. I love that.
I think I'll jump off what Maria is saying, because I think community is a big factor of what connected Charisse and I. Charisse used to work with my sister, and as Andrea also mentioned, she's a doula, and she helped bring my nephew into this world, baby Arthur. So Charisse and my sister have been connected in all of these really beautiful ways. And one day my sister was just like, you should connect with Charisse. Like, I think you guys would have a lot in common. And so I think we connected like a year or a year and a half ago or something like that. And then like, we sort of cycled back, and Culture Circle was really starting to be developed. And I think, like Maria mentioned, there's just that intuitive sense that this is a really good fit. But it really came through community and being open to being connected to others, even though you might not have that personal connection, and how we can just offer that sort of introduction to each other. So you'll just never know where these opportunities will go, and having that trust and that leap of faith to make that phone call or to send that email and see where it goes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, and shout out to baby Arthur. I love you so much, little baby. Oh my gosh, babies. Goodness, don't let a baby show up over here. I'm just gonna lose it. I just love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Kelsey, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yes. The word community and the word values come to mind. Because Sharice and I also met on the internet through LinkedIn, and she was posting really incredible content. And I had also taken a leap of faith, a year and a half ago, and just was trying to connect with people that were doing the work and walking the talk, talking, yes, walking the talk. So I just started interacting, and I don't know how I initially saw your content, and then I had asked a couple questions on a video, and then she came back a couple weeks later and was like, and shout out to Kelsey for asking these questions. And so this true commitment to the work and the interaction with the community. And I just remember that being like, oh my goodness, she shouted me out. Like, what? This is amazing. And also just like, she sees me, she sees other humans. She wants to have the hard conversations because it was a race conversation in the workplace. And I was like, I want to spend more time with her because I want to be part of these difficult conversations in such a people first way. And so then you were a guest speaker in the program that I run. And so we got to collaborate in a work sense there. And then after that, similarly, it was just like, what can we do? Let's continue this. There's a lot here. And then I met the rest of the crew.
Nice. I love that the thread is community, because very much like humanity, there is unity in community. And that's what we're feeling here. We are a like-hearted tribe, and it's really beautiful. And like I said, on a perfect day, if a genie showed up, I wouldn't have been able to wish you guys. And so I just every day am so grateful for you existing. I'm grateful for just the individual gifts that you guys bring. And I know that the work that we are doing is dynamic, and we have yet to scratch the surface. So what brings us together is something that, I love what you said, Maria. You can't connect the dots looking forward, only looking back. And there's just so much there. And so, just a heart full of gratitude for you guys for being a part of this tribe and just being the amazing humans that you are. That's what brings us together. So thank you for sharing that. We have a couple comments that we could get to. Let's see. Darren, our U.S. culture has decided that work is more important than our people. We forgot we can always come back to it if it's important. Humanity first, then what? Okay, we got to talk to this guy because I honestly, I don't know. Darren, are we connected? Are you connected to one of us? You are just, yes. Everything that you're saying, it's like just a beautiful flow. I love that. And y'all should definitely do one of those on Clubhouse. I gotta leave. Thank you for this. Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Caleb. I unfortunately am on Android, so I won't be able to do it just there, but we can do as many lives as we possibly can, and maybe we can transcribe the audio. So anyway, thank you for joining us, Caleb. Okay, I have a couple things that I want to get into with us. Let's see. Where do we go from here? So we talk a lot about high vibe, low vibe. I want to just kind of paint the picture for everyone that's watching live or recording. What does it mean to be high vibe versus low vibe? And anyone can take this. Just go ahead and throw it out there. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that as we build up into more of our conversation.
Okay, I'll go. And please, team, jump right in. to create dialogue around this. In the easiest way to explain this, high vibe is the lightest and best feelings that you have. It's happiness, it's joy, it's love, it's acceptance. It's what makes your soul sing. Low vibe is frustration, anger, envy that gets in your way and pulls you down, that kind of sucks the life out of you. So when we apply it to business, a toxic culture is low vibe. It's where you have the case of the Mondays or the Monday blahs every day of the week. And it's really hard to bring yourself to work, where I'm going to quote Maria on this. I'm going to get it wrong, so fix it. But there are no Monday blahs coming into Culture Circle on Mondays. It's like you spend the weekend rejuvenating and then you're like, I can't wait to go to work. So at work, that's how like high vibe just lifts you up.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just out of all of my friends, I feel like sometimes I'm the only one who's like, oh my gosh, it's Monday. I'm so excited to get to work. But commenting on the high vibe versus low vibe, I know Cherise posted a video yesterday about the question, how are you? It's like when you're walking by and you ask someone, how are you? About being intentional. So lately I've been saying like, oh, I'm like writing a really good, like I'm on a high vibes, like everything's going like very well. But just not being afraid to also communicate whenever you're not feeling that high, like that high vibration. But I also think it's something that you intuitively know when you meet someone. And I think when I met all of you, I was like, we are on similar vibes. And I hadn't really used that word in this context before coming to Culture Circle. And I think it's something that I've added into my vocabulary now. But yeah, I think high vibe and low vibe can just be added like into our personal lives as much as professional.
Just to work off what Maria is saying, I think it's also important to recognize that as humans, we kind of dynamically shift through all these different modes of being and energetic emotional states. And so we can want to be present to what's going on for us and value times of joy and happiness and feeling and flow, but also, you know, honor those times where we do feel low or we do feel stress, because we don't want to deny that kind of low vibe, because I think that just sort of pushes it into the shadow and then it'll come at you when you least expect it. So recognizing that these are a kind of duality that we all shift between, but recognizing that we can cultivate more of those mindsets that keep us more balanced and grounded and present. And I think that's what cultivates that higher vibe of being not just happy, but just authentically yourself.
Man, you guys are saying some fire here. I love it. Go ahead.
I'll add that the phrase collaboration over competition comes to mind as well. Just really thinking about how our voices are elevated and on an equal platform, and just like this. And yeah, just allowing the space for people to be heard and flexible and, like Alyssa said, as authentic as possible every day, in and out, through all communications, and how you really set up the systems of the company to mirror that too.
I'd actually like to add something.
Yeah.
Because what all of you said on this, there's a fact that we can point to, or an outcome for the people who are listening in right now. When we're all collaborating in a non-competitive space, so when we're collaborating in a safe space and we're in high vibe frequency, we're able to listen to each other and hear each other instead of having the words come in and then already be planning, whatever we need to say to contradict because of whatever low vibe reason we have within us, that it's, I know best, I have more experience, or this is my space of expertise. Within this group right here, let's see, we built a website in 5 hours, and that included, I think, 3 meetings and developing the content. we put together a program with a third party in an hour and a half. Yesterday, we were working on our wellness program together, and that was the second meeting. So that was 2 hours plus an hour of like writing things down and maybe another hour to clean it up. 4 hours. There's no, you might have a baby coming in.
Yeah, this guy, he's lit.
He can come collaborate with us.
Yes, he can come collaborate anytime, you know. This mic is so good. It's the downside. So people are like, everything okay? I'm like, yeah, just one of the 5, or, you know, it's not that kind of cry. You know, it's fine. No blood. It's fine.
As long as he's okay. So to use one of your Shariceisms, flow state, go state. When you're in a high vibe space working together, you're honoring the individual personally.
Yeah.
And who they are and their own value, and then the value they bring into a workspace together. And you are able to produce very quickly together. So I love what you said, Kelsey. That really resonated with me.
You guys, like I said, fire. And I'm just getting all these birth analogies, so I'm just going to use it. It is really hard to give birth in a low vibrational place. It is very hard. In fact, the body has to overcompensate. So the body's already going into a state of preparing. It's like a marathon. Your body's going through a marathon, but now you must run that marathon through quicksand because your body is now having to overcompensate. All of the chemicals that your body needs to go into labor and birth your baby happen. You have your oxytocin, you have your endorphins, you have everything that you need. And then if you're in a lower, like in a negative place, your body has to then overcompensate. You can't go into your cave, which every birth happens within that cave. It's that dark space that you need. It's not a negative place. It's just, that's where the birth happens. But when you're in a high vibrational place, like I have a really good friend, actually, he's going to be on next month. Shout out to Mike Brown. His wife gave birth laughing. Like, he showed me the video. The doctor said something about hair. She's like, wait, what? And she just starts laughing. The doctor or the midwife says nothing. And the baby just comes out laughing, like completely safe, high vibrational place for her, you know, just so, you know, when we talk about, and kind of what you just said, Andrea, is like, how we are able to create things happens in a higher vibrational space, because what Kelsey said, collaboration versus competition, there's a completely different shift there. There is that low ego. Does not mean our egos, it's again, slaying the ego. That's a daily process, but we choose to raise the humanity because we know that the space is allowant of that. And so everything you guys have said, I'm just so grateful. And I really do hope that companies that are listening, that are like, we want a better culture, we want this, like, these are the components, the foundational excavation that's going to be needed for you guys to lay that down for this to happen. That doesn't mean you guys are holding hands in a circle, kumbaya, but that means that you are moving things out of the space that no longer serve the diverse set of humanity, which brings me to this question. Want to talk a little bit about Culture Circle, is what differentiates Culture Circle from other work experiences that you guys have had?
Something comes to mind right away of the onboarding survey that we filled out. And I could tell, I mean, I hadn't met anyone on the team yet, but I was just so excited to ask all those questions to my new team members as well, because it was essentially like, what is your favorite, or what is your, you know, something around the lines of learning style and love language, and how you like to be seen, how you address like under stress, and how you like to be supported in those times. And I just thought like that set a really powerful message as a new team member, that these are some of the expectations that we talk about these things, but this is also like those questions provided that safe space to talk about those things. So right away from the entry point into the company, it was already present.
Nice. Thank you. We could do a whole nother segment on onboarding. That is like something I love talking about. But thank you so much for pointing that out. I love that.
I think for me, one thing that I'm going to go back to like my grateful moment when we started the call today, because it was freedom of expression. And I think that's what Culture Circle does at its heart, is allows each of us to be our unique selves, to bring what we have to our client partners, and to celebrate each of us in our diversity. I remember at one point asking Charisse, like, do you want to tell me a little bit about like your style? Like, if I'm going to work with this person, she's like, no. You do you, like what comes naturally. And it was like, right, I'm so used to making sure with my old work or with my other bosses, like, am I in line with what they want, which is often just like a model that doesn't encourage uniqueness and the individual being recognized for their strength. So for me, that freedom to really grow into that version of myself, the best version of myself, and to bring that to our client partners is such a gift and something that really differentiates Culture Circle.
Thank you for that.
I love all of that, and I second that as well. I think I feel very, very valued, and I value each of you in return. I think something unique to Culture Circle is that we all come from really different backgrounds and different capacities, in addition to having our own certain areas of expertise, but also I feel like we value our hobbies and our just like personal lives, because oftentimes in the workplace, we don't value that. So like for me, I love sports. I love running, swimming, triathlon, everything. And I feel like even those skills from that I can put into my work, and each of you too. And so I think that's very special that we can all show up as 110% ourselves and not have to become like work Maria or like personal life Maria. And I think something else that's different is like here I was like, okay, I have to come to every meeting prepared with like my agenda of like every single item we have to cover, and like, but we're just humans, like everything's always shifting. And here it's just like we write down like whatever we need to talk about, but like we just flow and things will work out. And I don't have those levels of anxiety that you often have when you are meeting with your boss. I feel like I'm meeting with a friend every time I meet with all of you, and we just get so much more done. Like Andrea, your sessions with me are like, we get so much done and it's fun. And I really enjoy my work. It doesn't feel like work. I don't like the word work. I don't know what else we can call it.
We'll figure out a new word eventually. Thank you so much, Maria, for that. Andrea, what say you?
I love what all of you have shared. I agree 100,000,000%. I have the same experience. What differentiates Culture Circle is that it's nothing like any other company. And I know that that's like a cop-out answer, but truly, when you think about it, Maria, you touched on it using the word anxiety. So I've suffered from anxiety since I was about 14. And I lived in a very competitive state of being as a kid, and then all throughout school, and then all throughout, well, most of my career until like I killed myself, you know, trying to climb the corporate ladder, bang my head against the, you know, glass ceiling and all of that. And then to come into Culture Circle is like, wait, are we working? It's like Charisse uses this word, ultimate life balance. It's not that we have to sit in a seat 9 to 5 and she's following up on everybody. Like, did you do this today? Are you going, oh my God, you were 30 seconds late for a meeting. You are in trouble because we can't have that. It has nothing to do with that. It's all a safe space that we've created actually for each other. And we understand that life happens.
Yeah.
As Maria mentioned last week in Texas, we had a freak storm and we were both in survival mode. Yeah. And that impacted us mentally and emotionally and physically because it drained our energy trying to cope with certain things. Charisse kind of cleared our schedules, our spaces, and everything. And the whole tribe came together to support us, where I know other people still in the corporate world did not have that same luxury and experience. So caring for the human is so important. And then the other thing is we don't run this company as a traditional business.
Mm-mm.
Every single person on this call either has their own company, their own entrepreneurial endeavor, or hobbies that they are committed to, community service, whatever it is, other jobs, other things that are happening. And we have the space to do all of it. We don't have to fit in one sandbox. We are growing and evolving as individuals, and that makes this tribe even better. So to me, Culture Circle doesn't exist in other companies. At least I haven't experienced it. But it's a place of safety and love and kindness and humanity. And there's nothing better than that.
Thank you for that. And while this all might sound like, where's the strategy, the tactics, the this, I just want to be very clear. That's 20% of what I focus on. The other 80% is manifestation, flow state, letting go, being human. Like I've decided to change the business model. So 20% numbers, which you guys know how I feel about that. 80% manifestation. Let's put it out there, because we can. Our vibration creates that manifestation, and we've been very, very blessed. You know, I have a business coach, doesn't know. He's like, how are you doing this? You know, and it's again, like you said, it's a different way. And businesses can follow this model too. It's very, very possible. Which brings me to the HUE, y'all. Let's talk about values real quick. So I will say this. I tell companies, and I got this from Stan Slap, who's amazing. Shout out to Stan if you're watching. He's going to be on LinkedIn Live next month too. Oh my God, next month is going to be fire. So anyway, Stan Slap is like, if you can avoid doing your company values, avoid them at all costs. And by the way, companies don't have values, people do. And so I knew that once I took a leap of faith, I wanted to create a really high vibe tribe, which is what we have here. We have a high vibe tribe. And these are the values. And I knew when I would explain the vision and what I'm trying to do, there needed to be a really good anchor. And so we have these values within Culture Circle, and we call it the HUE. So this is our values, our humanity. And that means that we show up in the best parts of our humanity, whatever that looks like for that day, right? There's two parts to our humanity, that the high vibe and the low vibe. And you can't separate it. We can't like Mrs. Doubtfire this thing where it's just like, oh, I'm going to be this, no, we show up. And then what I believe is honestly the glue, and something that just is, we can feel this, is our Ubuntu. Like I am because we are. That's how we are practicing this so actively. Maria and Andrea were going through things in Texas last week. It was Ubuntu. It was like, I'm not moving because you're not moving. And whatever I need to slow down, I will slow down. You, like, the tribe is not going to be able to function with knowing that you guys are going through certain things. And I had, and I gave space and just wanted to make sure, but like that concept of Ubuntu, we go together, we grow together. And then efficiency. We are very efficient with our energy, because we know that if our energy is what propels and moves things, we don't want to spend it doing things that are just not going to get us to where we need to be, or get our client partners to where they need to be. So we're very efficient, not in a curt way, but in a very flow state way. It's like, does that feel right? Probably not. And we find this path of least resistance that just opens things up, and we value the HUE. And something to add to the HUE, because I wonder if you guys have anything else to add, but if we are ever in discord, we will call the HUE. That is one of the agreements that we have with each other, is how do we deal with because we are humans. There are going to be days where I might have not slept, showered, ate, whatever, and I might say something. The tribe knows to call the HUE. And within the HUE, it's again low ego, but it's like, wait, what's going on with your humanity? Are we being Ubuntu? And are we being efficient by allowing this to derail us? And we're just trying to force something to happen. And so these values are not just these aren't company values. These are our human values that are making us not only really good humans in the workplace, but outside of the workplace. And it's something that we can see in all of the work that we're doing with our amazing client partners. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and then just open it up if you guys had any thoughts. You don't have to have thoughts.
I can share, and this sort of goes back to the previous question about what makes Culture Circle different. It's this. I have never been in a place where I feel so valued and that my ideas are heard and that we can act on them. And those three components of the HUE, so humanity, Ubuntu, and efficiency, all come into play with every day that we work together and with every decision that we make and with every project that we bring to life. I feel like we've gotten to the point where we do this unconsciously, and then that also is transcending into other areas of our lives. So personally, I am starting to use all three and notice them within my personal life. And we talk about this all the time. It's like a ripple effect. And so if you're with a company that is valuing those three components, and as humans we're valuing those three, that is automatically going to come into play with your community and with your family and with your friends, and you'll just show up as a better human yourself. And that's what we're going for, because at the end of the day, companies are people. And so we're not changing companies, we're changing people and people mindsets. And so I think that ripple effect and this mindset shift that we're going through as we think about these three things is really key.
Thank you for that.
I think a lot of us, and even those watching, probably feel like they've been part of companies or other collectives where you might have that value of efficiency, but it's really lacking in these other areas where we've lost that human element, where you're just seen as another like cog in the machine, and it's about production and hitting the numbers, and you see the toll that really takes on people. And I think that's why there's been such a shift in the general business industry to value wellness and to start bringing that back into the workplace, because individuals are more than just what they can produce on a material level. There are these other dimensions, how we interact with each other at the office, from our personal life and who we show up as, everything that's going on. And humanity in Ubuntu really anchors us back into that truth. And it helps not only recognize those interconnections that we all have, but also to have your business really take off in powerful ways, so that you're not dropping out because people don't feel supported, or that they're going through something difficult, but they don't have the ability to speak about it. We recognize that efficiency is important, and that's what helps us continue to grow and expand and explore. But these other values really ground us in our human reality.
Can I also add one last thing? Alyssa, you said something beautiful. It's the intersection of the three, because you can't, it won't work if you're missing one. So if you go on our website, we have a little Venn diagram that shows it, but it's where they overlap that the magic happens.
We're all about that magic, y'all. Okay, there's two other things that I want to get to. This one question, and then I also want to highlight you amazing humans and give people an opportunity to check in with you, follow you, see the work that you guys are doing. And so this question, we're going to end on this question. High vibe living elevates us into higher state of consciousness. What does that mean for individuals and companies? And Andrea, I want to direct this question to you.
Thank you. Everyone
Oh, is everyone else still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrea froze.
Oh no.
Curse of the Texas Wi-Fi.
Oh, I think there she.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now. Whatever you said, restart that.
I was like, it was the mic drop. I said it while we cut out, right? What I was saying was, if you guys who are watching right now, rewind when this comes out on video, Charisse will share a link. Rewind to the past 5 minutes where the team, the tribe, talked about the hue and what that means. Putting all of those elements into practice elevates you to a higher state of consciousness. What is that? In very basic terms, just means you're highly aware of the world around you, and you are no longer living in an ego state driven about what you need just for you, all about your end goal. You are actually accomplishing your goals, but within a community and caring about the world around you, however that shows up in your own particular life. But being in high vibe means that you are comfortable in your own space. You've shed the ego, and you are in a state of being of collaboration, as Kelsey said earlier. In that space, you cannot be in a normal state of consciousness because you are now aware of the needs and the yearnings and the desires of the team around you, the people that you work with, your family, your friends. And in that state, you are able to live in kindness and in love for everyone around you. And that's the bottom line for humanity. When you're acting and being in a state of love, there is no need for competitiveness. There is an energy flow, as Alyssa was saying earlier. And then what Maria was saying about the hue, humanity, Ubuntu, and efficiency, and that little magic right in the middle where they all intersect. Once you have that in your life, you can't live without it, because you've tasted this safe space of love and kindness and well-being, and you want to share it with everybody else. That higher state of consciousness is actually important for the world around us right now, especially as there's so much strife, there's pain, there's suffering in all kinds of different ways. And we can live it personally and professionally. And that's the key of why we're speaking today, that we can bring this into business. No one has to live in a low state of being or low vibe. We can all be in high vibe and a higher state of consciousness.
Thank you for that. You know, while you were talking, and I know that we've used words that some people might have never heard before or used in their vocabularies or didn't think it could go into business. I want to just encourage you guys as we kind of close out here. You can always go back. Why don't you try it this way and see what happens with business and what you're bringing and evolving and changing? You know, we work with high vibrational companies, Social Contract, Clio, companies that are really looking at how the world and the business function intersect, and that humanity that's in the middle, and they bring that light and love to the workspaces that they're doing. So if what we're saying sounds like, okay, this again sounds like, okay, ooga booga, like what is going on? Just try it. You can always go back to your old ways. You can always go back, I guarantee you. But this is how the world is shifting in so many ways. COVID showed up with the killing of George Floyd, with all of the deaths that have happened, with what just happened in Texas. You know, like there's just been so many things, and life will continue to give us the lessons we do not learn. Businesses were built on this competitive nature of people are numbers, that old way of human resources. And now we are shifting as a humanity, our consciousness into, okay, how can we create a healthy and inclusive workplace culture? Because everyone matters in the workplace and everyone can contribute. So what does that look like? How do you treat the island, right? Do you segregate the island? Do you say, nope, you're not good enough to be on there? Are you looking for that fit? Not going to last. You'll start to see these companies fall off or not be successful, or see their people fall off. Remember, you take your home space is usually, most of us, is our workspace. You're taking this here. And if you have family, if you have partners, loved ones, they are absorbing that energy. It doesn't just dissipate. It is being transferred somewhere else. So, and this is definitely for another conversation, but fertility plays a big place in culture. Toxicity, so like there's just things that need to shift. And I'm so grateful that our tribe and I are doing this. So with that, I want to just highlight each person in the tribe and just let you know, like, they are reachable, how they connect with you. So Alyssa, how can people connect with you?
You can check out my website, alyssapulizi.com. I'm also at alyssa.pulizi on Instagram and on other social media. So come say hello. I offer sessions and general posts around all these types of topics and more.
Nice. Thank you. Kelsey, how can people get in touch with you?
Yes, similar to Alyssa, you can go to my website, kelseylee.com, or on Instagram or LinkedIn. And I in addition to Culture Circle, I offer leadership training, management training courses. So you can check that out as well.
Thank you. Andrea, how can people get in touch with you?
So my website, soulfirespirit.com, there's all kinds of coaching and resources available that really bring heart and soul into your personal and professional life. You can send a note to me there. You can find me on LinkedIn, and it's just Andrea Koholmi Summers or Andrea Summers. As you see there, you will find me.
Nice. What were you going to say?
Oh, I said send me a message.
Nice. And Maria.
So you can find me on Instagram is probably where I'm most active at IA Vargas, but I'm also on LinkedIn, and I also have a website called pricklypearatx.com. I'll put that in the comments as well, but we do a really cool monthly publication about just people in the community who are doing really cool things that are very high vibe. So if you want to check that out, you can visit Prickly Pear.
Nice. Thank you. And if you guys are interested in having a conversation, difficult or otherwise, or if you're looking for a birth doula, let me know. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can check us out. Check me out on Culture Circle. I'm also on Instagram. I'm very learning Instagram. So you can find me there. But I want to just end with this. If you're someone that is passionate about humanity, culture, and inclusion, check out culturecircle.co and humanitypower.co. We have not even got to Humanity Power, but we are going to end this high vibe zone LinkedIn Live. But we'll be back. I'm sure we will come back with something. We're going to go back as a tribe, be inspired. I want to just thank everyone that that showed up, that spent time with us, that is watching the recording. We are just a really good group of humans that are in this space of business, and we are focused on the transcendence of humanity and business and how that all manifests. So check us out. I'm going to give the tribe the last word. Anything you want to say before we close out, just go for it. And then I'll just close this out with our normal, farewells.
Just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and lovely as always to flow with you, ladies.
Thank you.
I agree. Thank you for being here and carving out this space. I also think my biggest takeaway from today is just the higher we elevate the vibe in the company, and as the higher the individual kind of meets there, and there's that accountability to be more aware and more conscious and more authentically you. And so I'm just even through this conversation, it brings out those moments of this is so different than a normal a traditional company we see and those that I've experienced. So I just think we can continue to push this in a good way.
Worthy way.
Yeah, continue to inspire others and be inspired. Look at that. Full circle.
Yes, be inspired to be inspiring. Yep. I'm telling you, this card worked. It worked with us. Awesome. Anyone else?
I'll just say slay the ego and raise the humanity. I think that was the highlight for me. But I'm grateful for this space and for everybody who tuned in. Thank you for contributing, because it's really great hearing from you and knowing that, like, yeah, we all share a lot of these common struggles, but maybe together we can help each other out.
Nice. Thank you.
And I'd like to share just gratitude for my amazing tribe here. Gratitude for all of you who are tuning in. And I think keeping it simple, be kind. It's the bottom line for all of us. Be kind, smile, wave to people. It might mean the world to somebody.
And with that, light, love, and gratitude. Thank you so much for joining us here in the High Vibe Zone. This has been High Vibe Companies with Culture Circle and our amazing tribe. Have a beautiful day, evening, night. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.